Very good morning, my dear EHS friends. Today I'm going to speak about responsible care and RC 14001 also to be covered. This is a voluntary compliance, so it's more for companies who are engaged in, mostly in chemicals, but as I keep saying, it can be extended to any aspect of life because the codes of practices are so common that you can implement it, taking the principles and executing them. So this is my eighth session on EHS in response to the state of the EHS India nation, which I had sent out. So I am glad that I could contribute my own bit, and today being the eighth session, I would look forward to post many more, and I look for your feedback and comments, and also on topics that you want me to cover, so that I'll be able to post on that. So I'm also very thankful for all the subscriptions to my blog, HSC blog, that is receiving a good response and more than about 1600 hits. So please spread the word, and I'll also post the links. I look forward to hearing your comments on this also, and thank you for your time, and have a great day, and God bless. And incidentally, today is also the new year for many parts of folks. I wish folks a very happy new year wherever the state be. Today being Wednesday, 29th March 2017. Thank you so much. Very good evening, my dear EHS friends. This is, as I indicated in the introduction, the eighth session on EHS State of the Nation India. Today's session would cover responsible care. This is a very exhaustive topic, so I would just give a overview, and I have already posted videos on what do you call as process safety management, and also the integrated management systems. So those videos you can watch to get the linkage between responsible care elements, some of the elements, and the requirements. So this is just basics to give what responsible care is and how it is done. I was very lucky, in 1990s when we were handling highly hazardous chemicals, in a very environmental sensitive places. So we thought that, that's where again leadership comes in, and our leaders felt that this is the way to go about it, and that was just coming in the 90s. So we worked as a collective entity, working with within the group as well as with other chemical companies, and could develop programs and do the implementation. So as I had indicated in the vehicle safety and hazardous materials management presentation, this is a voluntary effort. I mean, you need to go beyond your legal compliance and implement those norms. So that's why this was, and it responsible care covers from cradle to grave. Like, you need to cover your all your requirements, products, process, programs, raw materials, disposal, waste, emergency plans, community awareness, everything you need to work through the life cycle assessments we call, and work the requirements. And a lot of public involvement and engagement is required. I now that ISO 14001 has also kind of leveled it out, but you need to remember 25 years back that was not the case. So there was no trust or public engagement. So That's where today this is more uh, discussions involving public. What is their requirement? What is their concern in your area of operations? Even your products, process, the those aspects, and then that need to be included in your strategic business aspects. This was initiated in Canada, so it's about close to 30 years now, and has spread to over 60 countries, and well received. And today, you are a chemical industry. If you don't have responsible care, people feel that you are not the elite. So it has moved to that, and there are two. We will see that there are two ways of achieving the responsible care. One is responsible care management systems, which can be internally done, and RC 14001, that's a responsible care 14001, which is done through third party audits and get the endorsements. And the main thing is, when you do responsible care, you minimize the operations risk. So why responsible care? Why this caught up? And I mean, the background again is, the Bhopals and the Chernobyl, all that, and mostly chemicals. I mean, Chernobyl was nuclear, but still the chemical industry was seen as one causing havoc, and that's where the American Chemistry Council thought about it and worked the voluntary initiative to make this happen. So I don't want to read these slide, but today these are the ways, the modern walk the talk way. I mean, you need to move beyond compliance, and these are the ways you do about it. So you need to be open, transparent, involved, engaged, participate. Those kind of aspects, and make also not only doing it but doing the right thing effectively. I mean, that's what I mean. There is a difference between efficiency and effectiveness. Effectiveness is, efficiency is doing things right, but effectiveness is doing the right thing. So there's no point in doing the ineffective thing efficiently. So that's where you need to really know your process systems, and then make corrective actions. And what do you call as also, as I had indicated, it involves mutual aid. I mean, you need to really work around, not just you do be on the top, but try to help the communities around you in a participatory way, and even the fellow industries. I mean, I remember, like in 1990s, we formed what is known as the Bharuch district in Gujarat, the She Association. That's what purely a voluntary efforts with companies joined together and worked it. And I am told today, 20 years down the line, is one of the key opinion maker in industries. And I was very lucky. If you go to the initial charter of 94, 95, you would see my signatures. 95, I was a secretary, and then so that's how we even those days, companies thought about going beyond our workplace to help the community. So that's where these kind of things come, and old ethics of hiding or just doing it won't work. So what are the responsible care's core elements? That's where it's there are what do you call as various aspects. You start with the obligation of membership. That's where you take it and then work for that. Codes of management, we will see it in detail. Help each other, and public advisory process. That's where you need to get all your, I mean, like if you have done ISO 14001, you would know, interested party concerns take around that. And with 45001 coming, even your internal stakeholders need to give their inputs, set goals. I mean, what gets measured gets done. So keep some objectives, targets linked, and measure it, and work the measurements, assessments. That's where the management systems, we will see it. And partnership, go beyond your community, involve your labor partners, suppliers, customers, whoever is making an impact on your process. Take it along with them, in your journey, and try to make a value add for them also. Right? I don't want to read it. It's like, I mean, this is the summary of what I had told before, and um, the codes of best practices are the key thing which we will focus. And mutual assistance is very essential. Sometimes that's where, the chemical industry sees itself as a kind of a synergy to help each other, and they are all in it together to make their image go beyond their workplace. So what is when you go for responsible care, what is it that you got to do? I mean, this will look straightforward if if you have done ISO 9001 or 14001. So work again and see the risks. I mean, I mean, now today, these days, risk is going to be, the key thing: financial risk, business risk, operational risk, process risk, location risk, whatever. I mean, so you need to really work the mitigation plans through for risk, and also work the what do you call as corrective and preventive actions, which is what is required in any systems, and documentations. Uh, One of the major aspects. So that's where the new standards have given you a lot of leeway. They don't no longer call it records; they call it the documented information. So you know uh, work around that, and make the management reviews as required, and work the corrective actions and do into improvement cycles. So how the responsible care and RC 14001 responsible care, how are they are interlinked. So the picture on the right kind of gives you the overview, and so it's beyond legal compliance, and work for these codes, which will I'll cover, and so it's not as what do you call as uh, opinions of your customers, interested party holders. Again, that's where in automotive sector, you would see today, you want to be a supplier, tier 1 supplier to Ford or General Motors or Chrysler, you need to be ISO 14001 certified, so that the environmental management systems, the impacts are all assessed, and you are able to meet their requirements. So similarly, that's where responsible care goes about it, and that's now you see the slide on the picture on the left. You need the broad scope. What is it that you will cover? The context of organizations, your commitments. That's where your leadership signed through policies and charter, and uh, you know uh, commitment to funds. Then you work the what do you call as open reporting, honest, transparent, set measures and goals, metrics, and measure and indicate a systematic approach. Plan, do, check, act, input, process, output. Everything is done through process. Your supply process, your receiving process, your order process, your manufacturing process, your quality assurance process, your safety, health, environment process, your products process, your life cycle assessment process, your financial process, your human resources process, whatever that needs the business to go, you need to work, and work the independent certification. So that's where you will see that you kind of see everything in toto. It's not parts, it's all synergy, where you work the mutual benefit, and make the efficiency and productivity improve. So when you do responsible care, what are the benefits? It definitely works the excellence. I mean, when you if you are in responsible care league, you get that kind of elite. So you people know that you have reached the set the benchmark and achieved it, because it goes beyond even the ISOs and other stuff, as you would see. Synergy it provides. You will see when you integrate and work these systems, you will get optimization and enhancement. Competitive advantage, definitely. If you are RC certified, your customers get the kind of what do you call assurance that you have all the proper systems in place. teamwork. We will see why. Very critical. I mean, if you do responsible care, it's, I mean, many people need to get involved. Many people need to have the same wavelength. That's where the people skills and what do you call as uh, uh, participation, coaching, guiding, involved, engage, motivate, inspire. People need to do that, because responsible care is such a vast spectrum that not few people can do. So that's where it gives a very good opportunity for teams to engage. That's where it comes from culture. You need to have a very vibrant culture on, questioning attitude, systems in place where failures are seen as stepping stone to success. So those kind of aspects will work around post, when you have stabilized your maturity path, from the cultural perspective, right? Like kind of an organization between calculative and proactive in the cultural ladder can start responsible care, and as they mature in about, say, 1 year or so, they would be at a proactive stage. Again, that's where the participation comes through stakeholders engagement and build business relations and image to reinforce the credibility. So what are the 7 codes? If you say I want to do responsible care, what are the 7 codes that you need to work around this? This is the backbone of the system, and this is where the overall spectrum comes in. It's not just safety or quality or environment or data security or energy. No, it's everything together to be done. So that's where these 7 codes came. 6 was the initial codes, but post 9/11 the security and vulnerability assessments come in. I mean, I really see that as a big challenge in industries. I mean, still the vulnerability assessments are have some way to go. So distribution is all about your supply chain. How do you do? What are your responsible ways? Disposal. How do you receive? How do you handle? How do you manage? How do you transport? How do you dispose? Those kind of things. Community awareness and emergency response code. I have put one reference link in my annexure to this presentation. You can see those slides and get to know about it. So it's, again, you need to really engage the community around which you operate your business, or in a broader sense your opinion makers, and if you are a large entity, the people who influence that business. Pollution prevention code, ISO 14001, straightforward: waste, water, air, drinking water, container management, dikes, spills, all that, and resource conservation. So those kind of things. And process safety code. See, this is where you may get caught. You may think that I'm doing everything great, but process safety code, which is where OSHA 1910.119, about which I have made a presentation I think a couple of weeks back. So we can refer that to see what are all those elements required, and get it done and implement them. In terms of process hazard analysis, hazard studies, contractor management of change. There are about 14 elements, and now there is also a CCPS has come with process safety management systems. There are 20 elements to cover, again, from plan, do, check, act perspective, management of change, management, asset integrity. Various aspects are thoroughly covered, so that the processes you do in chemical industry is totally safe, so that no incidents happen like the Bhopal and Felixborough, those kind of stuff. Employee health and safety code, straightforward to OSHA's 18001 and ISO 45001, which is coming mostly this year end or next year. So risk assessments, workers participation, safety audits, conditions monitoring, behaviors to engage for a safe workplace, standard operating procedures, standard work, incident investigations. So all those aspects will be covered. And product stewardship. The 6th code is product stewardship. which covers the cradle to grave aspects. How do you impact your what are all the impacts your products, packing, those kind of disposals, safe method of transportation. So it's not just you manufacturing in your site. Your responsibility extends beyond the four walls if you are in a manufacturing site. So you will have to make those aspects covered in it through various requirements, and if you are going to export to various countries, those country requirements would come in and are based on the industry specific requirements. If you may be in chemical industry, but you may be supplying materials to other industry, business to business environment, so those kind of requirements need to be identified and put in place. So that's where this product stewardship code will come in and work the requirements identified. And the last is security and vulnerability assessments. This came there is a very good guideline on Department of Homeland Security. It gives the total vulnerability assessments for chemical installations. I'll try to post the link maybe in the videos, YouTube comment section, so that you can see it. So it covers all the vulnerability, how installations can, through security, through threats, terrorism, those kind of stuff which can be covered. So process safety management, I just wanted to touch again, so this is where you work these elements and have how everything kind of fits in, you see. Even in process safety, you need to have the environmental remediations, the waste management, process safety, your industrial hygiene. So it's all interlinked. I mean, that's where these days you can't be standalone. You cannot say my safety is good, my environment is bad, or industrial hygiene is good, but my occupational health is bad. Everything is tied and everything is converging. I mean, the whole EHS spectrum is one side it's getting very broad, but at the other end it's converging. So you can't be, it needs if you have to be stable, you need to do everything right, and that's where you need people with a lot of skills, competence, multi-faceted guys who can think on their feet and work the implementation. So that's where that's a business competitive advantage. I mean, no wonder the thing is today, if you are greater than your competitor, it's going to have its own what do you call as benefit to your bottom line, right? I don't want to read this, but main aspects are communication and consultations and business risk mitigation. Identify all risks, work from process safety risk, environmental risk, business risk, for all normal, abnormal and emergency situations. So plan, work that, strategize into your business portfolios. Look at it from overviews of political, economical, social, technical, your competitors, new entrants. Very good book is by Michael Porter. What are the competitive strategies? So look at it from that perspective and link it to your business and work it from your strategic plans, and then work the A3s and work the annual operating plans with the fundings and budgets. So that way you are very clear, and even if you are 80% right, you would have hit the targets. I mean, so that's where these kind of risk portfolios would help you to know the things and be ready for it. And you even if you are 80% right and plan it for 5 years, you would have been in good shape. And the main thing in risk is there are no surprises. I mean, that's where what these organizations do great. The strategic planning is so much linked to business that there are hardly any surprises. So they are able to cover all the aspects of from when they do this risk-based approach, and then work the mitigation and get the fundings and escalation process. Environmental focus is through better waste control practices, air, water, as I said, container management, drinking water, and then we call anything that is not product is called as total non-productive output. So you need to reduce it, and so we don't even call it waste, we call it TNPO, and make sure that they are reduced, and so you reuse or whatever and make happen. And safe facilities linked to operational excellence, that's where asset integrity, process safety, contractor management, safety audits, all that aspects will come in, good risk hazard analysis and all that. And willingness to learn beyond now, create new norms. This is where you say that I am only interested in legal compliance. You can't. I mean, that's where you need to go much above the legal requirements. So how do you do this? So that's where the responsible care management systems and ISO 14001, which was RC 14001 in 2015 was released. It was released in 2008, went revision in 2013, and then now applicable in 2015. So these standards are aligned totally to ISO 14001, and with the OSHA's coming in, the ISO 45001 coming in. And as I said, if you see my integrated management systems presentation, which I have uploaded in YouTube, you can see how all three standards are aligned. And so this is where this 40 RC also will fit in, and it will work. And these standards, again, as I said, are all they all will become applicable latest by 2018. So you have about 18 months, September 2018. Post that, none of the old standards are valid. Your ISO 14001, ISO 9000, which are all the earlier versions, would be null and void. So you need to. So this is where RC with 14001 would focus on these four aspects in broader sense. So you need to tie all your ISO elements, there are 10 elements, into these buckets, and make sure you comply with them through Plan, Do, Check, Act, and will be audited. And if you do good, you are given the Responsible Care 14001 certifications, right? So if you are certified for other things, the only thing you need to really work is your process safety. That's where very drill down into get your hazard matrix, get your HAZAP, get your asset integrity, get your contractor management, those kind of stuff, training, emergency response, all that, consequences analysis, disaster management plans, and security. Of course, you got a lot of work to do, so vulnerability assessments. But as I said, if you use the Department of Homeland Security, they have excellent documents to work it. So again, as I said, no legal requirements. You really need to work that beyond. So transportation is very essential. I mean, that's where you need to work. I have covered in the hazmat training, so look at that. How will you plan your journey route, the risks, the safe aspects, storage, classification of materials, distribution, warehouse safety. So I've covered there. You can have a look at it and work. So energy, again, so you need to involve, will work that. Security is very essential. So work people, put people security first, and make sure. Also the loss protection, security also involves loss prevention. So how will you work around that? And also the going beyond responsible laws and regulations, right? So focus on fundamentals. Sometimes, as I keep saying, Yogi Berra, the great baseball coach and player, he says in theory there is no difference between theory and practice, but in practice there is. I really take it to that, and I also keep saying the knowing doing gap. So work that. This is all look simple, but when rubber hits the road, how good it is. So that's where the leadership and makes a huge difference. What is it that great companies do? They have great leaders. So if you are going for responsible care, this is how you do it. work the obligations, top management signs the policy charter, work the requirements, work plan, do, check, act, work. It takes about 1 year. Anything less, I would be very surprised unless you have a very good matured system, because process safety can be a good where you can spend a lot of time, and security and vulnerability assessments. I mean, these days, so with those requirements that have come in, you need to really look at it from what are the threats, and every aspect needs to be covered. So 1 year would be a good timeline to plan and execute, right? Also, once you do it, extend that to your internal and external stakeholders. It makes a huge difference. When they benefit, you can benefit, and then those costs and benefits can be passed to you. So so everybody prospers. That's where the outreach, as I said, don't be in silo. No longer you can be in silo. Those days are gone. I mean, the new walk the talk way, you can't be a silo any longer. You need to be you will be impacted by your supply side or the customer side. So that's where you need to really learn and put those best practices. I don't want to read it, so work the plans and execute the plans. It's very simple to say that. And extend it, even if you're doing at one site, extend it to your company, so that it's good to get the overview, and you will see the benefits. Once you implement it, you will get it and track the progress and metrics. This is where, as I said, you need teams. You need a very good task force. You need to split the requirements into task force, maybe product stewardship task force, process safety task force, community awareness and emergency response task force, security code task force. So like that 7 task force, or I mean, I will leave it to you. I can't be spoon feeding, but you know what's good for you, and work the baseline. Work the baseline where you are. You will know the gaps, and then close the gaps through action plans and implement it. It takes about a year, as I said. So, and that's where delegate. It gives a good chance for people to learn, and it can give the value add to them. So that's how it should be, and owned by everyone. I mean, it can't be 2 people doing it. It's because the spectrum is so vast that not 2 people can be experts. Even if you consider one subject matter expert, you need 7 people: environment safety, process safety, communications and emergency expert, product stewardship. So you need 7 minimum people to manage it, and then you need team below them to work. So it calls for a lot of interactions, and a good leader and mentor to drive the program. Right, so where responsible care can fail, I mean, that's where I'm almost coming to my last slide, and right, I don't want to read it, but so business will never improve. It always, there are challenges more. So I mean, I am really, today when I saw Trump signing the climate change policy, he has just said get lost. So we really, it's going to go worse. It's going to go downhill. So you need to really see. This is where now you are. As they say, emperor has no clothes. So you need to push it, work beyond the legal compliance, and that's where, and try it. I mean, as I keep saying, today there are so much resources. We people did 30 years back with absolutely nothing. So we learned the hard way, and that's where. But we never had the fear of failure. Failure was not an option, as Gene Kranz, the mastermind behind Apollo 13 rescue mission, said. Failure is not an option. We never even thought failure for 1 minute. I mean, I don't think whether I would have thought failure any time. No. So that's where it makes the huge impact, and there is no end. So anybody can do at any stage and take it and work it. and don't think that you are resource rich environment. No, it will never come. So whenever something comes, you will always feel there are some more, like Murphy's law, time, time expands to the resource available. So same way, that time the priorities would have changed. So, and also don't have the not invented here syndrome. So try to put out all that and make it happen. Right, so I put some, I'll try to post these links in the YouTube comment section so you can go through and see. And there is a very good guideline on all the 7 codes of practices and how it links to responsible care and responsible care management systems, RC 14001. So if you see here, that's where communication and dialogue are the key to make happen. And energy is a big thing. I mean, these days with costs going up, so responsible care aspects cover all those aspect, energy conservation through ISO 50001. So that's where all these standards can be now worked through the responsible care. And again, it goes beyond voluntary compliance. Um, Make sure it happened through Plan, Do, Check, Act, and uh, product responsibility, cradle to grave. Look at it from safe disposals, remediations. You can't leave the site and go. So you are even responsible for your post history. I mean, so grandfathering, we call it. So your grandson is responsible. So same way, what you do now, your future generations are answerable, and there are indemnity to which you own it. So I think that's all I had. I wanted to give a quick overview. I would be glad to give more details if you specifically ask for it. But responsible care is chemical industry not only, but if your customer asks those requirements, you need to go. That's where it's extending beyond. People are getting smart. So when they see the chemical industry, some other industry is going to say, when those companies do it, why not my supplier do it? So that's how the whole propagation happens. I mean, see, so chemical industry started it, then the automotive industry said we want 14001. So like that it will propagate. So be ready, be ahead of the curve. If you don't even do 100%, but start the process. Look at it from how my footprint will be, how I can work for various aspects of business, right from supplier engagement to customer requirements, and involved in various aspects of functions, people, product, process, programs, everything. So that you are when the requirements come in, you are not in for a shock. So that's where these kind of good companies always take it, and they swim against the tide and establish themselves. So that's how the leaders make it happen. So I'm thankful to you once again. Uh, if you have any questions, comments, post it. If you specifically also want me to cover specific topics, please let me know. I'll be glad to do that. I'm getting very good responses from my blog. Please post your comments there. It helps to spread the word. Also share it in your these presentations in your network, so that it will help. Somebody will see and give some comments that can help trigger some whole new aspects. So I thank you for your time, and have a great evening. It's coming to, I think, around 6 o'clock, so 5:30. So have a great evening, and